Hey, my name is CJ here with Epidemic Sound to help you figure out which camera should you use. This is a camera buying guide. And literally I'm gonna make this extremely super easy for you to figure out what camera you need as a video content creator. Now there's always the cliche answer, use the camera that's with you, the cell phone. Listen, everyone has one. The smartphones are getting really good these days. But there's also the reality that there's something better out there. Interchangeable lens camera like this set, Canon M6. There's all different kinds of builds out there. We have the flip up screen, which is extremely important when it comes to that vlogging, self-recording video content. So the beauty about this is it's interchangeable. The beauty about this is it's convenient and everyone owns one. But this one has interchangeable lenses, meaning I can take this wider lens, which has an 11mm to 22mm focal length, which is extremely wide, and that's ideal for that vlogging. This is a fixed prime 16mm lens, which I can remove and exchange for this 11mm right here. This is the convenience of interchangeable lens cameras, but these cost a little bit more, and they're a separate cost from the smartphone that you already have in your pocket. So which one do you go for? And then there's also the larger full frame big brother interchangeable cameras such as this EOS R, which is far more, robust, bigger. This has a battery grip, so it's a lot heavier. Which one should you buy? Well, a lot of things to keep in mind. Number one, your budget. How much can you afford to spend? Number two, how serious are you about this? Because sometimes it may benefit you to start cheap or small before going big. These are larger investments and you need to be kind of established and committed before you go here. A lot of people get hyped up. They see their favorite content creators using said big camera, so they want to jump in when they really needed to start here. So most people will probably believe that this smartphone isn't going to get them as good of quality as these other cameras. Well, they're absolutely wrong, because the number one thing that matters is lighting and settings. Now, most people use their cameras on auto, so I'm going to demonstrate in this well-lit environment the same angle, but from a smartphone. All right, so this right here is the front-facing camera on my iPhone 13 Pro Max, and this is the quality that you can expect if you have proper lighting. Lighting is everything. As you guys can see, big lights, big quality. Now I want to flip this around to the rear camera. Now this way you're shooting kind of blind, and that's the downside to using a smartphone, is I can't see myself when I want to use the better cameras. That's why moving to a camera like this with a flip out screen is going to benefit you a lot more than using this to create your content. But I want to show you guys the quality of the rear facing camera, which is the better camera to use in this type of situation. Nice lighting. You can get into more robust apps with these smartphones, but as I said, they're not as convenient to use as they're a smartphone. Okay, with that phone being said and done, let me show you what an interchangeable camera can get you. This is the Canon M6 interchangeable lens. This has a super wide focal length, and this has the flip up screen so I can see myself. Now, I'm gonna leave this one in full auto. I'm not gonna change any settings. I'm gonna let the camera do what it does. Now, there is an ND filter, which I need to lighten up a little bit. It actually should not be used indoors, but we're using it anyway. But this right here is the Canon M6 indoors. Actually, let me take off the ND filter. Boom. So this right here is the Canon M6 with that 11mm of, width and focal length. And as you can see, this is a far wider shot, far more vlog friendly hookup and setup. This is just a handy vlogging setup that I love to use, that's compact and not as expensive as a full frame camera or cinema camera. Boom. So there's that setup, and then there's the full frame bad boy, this Canon EOS R. All right, so this is a quick shot with a full frame camera, the Canon EOS R. I have a 16mm full frame lens on this hookup. And this is like the typical, the ideal quality that you see a lot of more established creators using. Full frame. And then finally, you have the camera that I'm using and microphone and so forth, which is a far more advanced far more unnecessary hookup. So as you guys can see, there is extreme quality in video and pictures that you can get out of a smartphone camera. It's convenient to carry, but it doesn't have all of the conveniences as a dedicated camera, which is why an interchangeable camera is far more ideal. This is the middle ground of how I believe most content creators should jump into. Now, there is a step before this one, and that said middle ground is a point and shoot camera. It's not detachable in the lens area, but it's pretty convenient and small and compact and easy to carry, but it has its shortcomings as well. Now, the best way to figure out which camera falls in line for you is number one, let's go over the budget. Which can you afford? Most of us already have a smartphone, so that eliminates the need for an extra cost, which that will answer as to where we should possibly start. But then there's some of us who actually have a budget and can jump into a more mid-tier or inter-mid-tier level. So you would either go point and shoot, or what I would highly recommend, an interchangeable lens build, because this allows for you to change your lenses and get different looks and styles while using the same camera. So get a camera that has enough features for you and also allows for you to change the lens so you can change the look and get different types of shots and focal lengths. And then there's the people who can afford a more robust setup, such as this full frame camera. You can go that route. You have a budget for a more semi-pro to pro level, which would lead you down the road to get a full frame camera such as this Canon EOS R, the Sony A7 IV, and things like that. And then when you have a larger budget and larger aspirations and you want to jump into that full frame market, slash cinema and so forth, there's such a wide array of options that you definitely need to do your research. And by that point, you should know what you're looking for and what you need, because there's all different feature sets that will come into play, such as flip out screens if you want to do vlogging. Which microphone are you going to want to add? Which lenses do you want to buy? The budget gets really expensive and really pricey at the full frame level, but the quality and the abilities increase. Okay, so in this camera guide, I tried to make it as simple as possible for you to be able to assess your budget and assess your needs via these 3 options. And there's a multitude more of options, but this makes it simple. It's either your smartphone, an interchangeable lens, intermediate camera, or you go full frame and you go all in. Either way you go, the number one thing that you can do is learn how to use that camera to the best of its abilities, and also use settings that allow for this camera to show you what it has to offer. My name is CJ. I'm here with Epidemic Sound, giving you guys a camera guide as a content creator as to what camera should you buy.